What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another Hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your Hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the matchup I have for you today, we have Kyle J.K., who is going to be on Hieratic Ruler, versus BM who is going to be on Mythic Ruler. So it is going to be a ruler on ruler matchup to see which is the best. So hopefully this will be a good matchup, but the only way to know for sure is to actually check it out. So here we will see BM win the rock, paper, scissors and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Tefnuit, Hieratic Seal from the Ashes, Labradorite Dragon, H.A.T, and Title, and on the other side we see Flameveil Guard, Silver's Cry, Gold Sarcophagus, Blue Eyes, and Card Trooper. And here BMD is going to get a draw for turn, getting a copy of Trade-In, which is a great draw given they do have that copy of Blue Eyes in hand. And here they're going to start their turn by activating the Trade-In, discarding the Blue Eyes, drawing into a copy of Silver's Cry and Whitestone. So on multiple copies of Silver's Cry, that's definitely interesting. I guess some builds have been known to play more than one, but I think personally one is probably a good number for that. After that, we are going to see the Gold Sarc activated and banishing a copy of Title, which is then going to trigger and get a copy of Mythic Water Dragon. After that, let's see, we are going to see the Card Trooper come down using the effect to mill 3, hitting a Debris Dragon, Skill Drain, and Blue Eyes. And after that, it looks like we are going to see the Silver's Cry activated, summoning back the copy of Blue Eyes here, and then special summoning the copy of Mythic Water Dragon because BMD does have this Card Trooper, which is an Earth, so that's perfect for a potential rank 8 play, which they are going to go and make a copy of Felgran before passing turn. Here it looks like Kyle JK is going to draw into a copy of Hieratic Seal of Convocation, which is a great draw, especially given they already have the Tefnuit, so they can definitely make some plays happen here, and let's see what they choose to do. They're going to start off with the Seal, adding a copy of Sue, which definitely makes sense here, special summoning the copy of Tefnuit, which I would assume yes, and after that, taking a second to think, tributing it off for the copy of H.A.T, and from here the Tefnuit can trigger to special summon, let's see, a copy of Labradorite Dragon from deck, and then after that, using the effect of H.A.T, which says once per turn you can target a face-up dragon normal monster on the field. Levels of all face-up hieratic monsters you currently on the field become the level of that monster until the end phase. So maybe trying to bait out this copy of Felgran, though I guess given they went for that play, it almost would have been safe to save the Seal, just because if BMD thinks that you don't have any other hieratics, they might be in a situation where they might consider using the Felgran to actually negate this effect, thinking you don't have any other follow-up. But at the same time, this play here, given you have a 5 and a 6, and one of which is a tuner, that can also go into a copy of Star Eater. So there's not really a great point for this Felgran to hit at the moment, but let's see what happens. Here, it looks like they are going to allow it, and then here we are going to see the Sue going and special summoning by tributing off that top copy of H.A.T, and then there the H.A.T will trigger to go and summon out a copy of Flameveil Guard. After that, we are going to see a Strike Bouncer summoned. Okay, a little interesting on the plays here, but maybe it looks like they were just trying to fuel their graveyard to then go for this Title. A little strange, I think, personally, because again, there's definitely the situation where you could have gone like a Star Eater, or just in general, the Hieratics also summon from hand, so in theory, after tributing off the H.A.T, you could have gone for like a Labradorite and then forced a play with something along the lines of a King Atum plus Gaia Dragon if need be, but maybe they're just trying to play it a little more cautiously and slow. It's really going to come down to what this level 8 synchro they end up going for, if that's the move here, given they are special summoning the Title here. And let's see, we are going to see a synchro summon of Crimson Blader. Okay, so that also kind of works here in a way to bait out this copy of Felgran. Very interesting. Going to battle phase and running over the Card Trooper, and here the Crimson Blader will trigger. That says if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, your opponent cannot normal or special summon level 5 or higher monsters during their next turn. So very strong being able to do that, and BMD did not take the bait there and was not going to use this to negate the Crimson Blader. Blader, which would have then been met with the Strike Bouncer. Obviously, it wouldn't destroy it, but it would have, kind of baited that out early on. And here we do see the Card Trooper triggering, so BMD will draw into a copy of Skill Drain, and then from there, main phase 2, setting a copy of Hieratic Seal from the Ashes. I'll go over this card real quick because it is pretty cool, and I feel like from time to time we do see it in Hieratic Ruler, but more so in the older builds. This one says once per opponent's turn, my apologies, you can send a Hieratic monster from your deck to the graveyard, and once per turn during your turn, you can target one of your banished Hieratic monsters, return that target to the graveyard, and if this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard, target one Hieratic monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So just a way to really fuel your rulers. But anyways, here we do see BMD draw into a copy of Tempest for turn. And they're definitely in a solid position, playing it slow, going to battle phase, and the copy of Felgran is going to run over the Strike Bouncer, and they can't really do anything else because of that Crimson Blader, so here we are going to see them set 2 and pass it over to Kyle, who gets a copy of Redox for turn, and let's see what they choose to do. Going to battle phase, and they're going to crash, and it looks like here the copy of Felgran is going to chain its effect to negate the Crimson Blader, going to main phase 2, flipping up the Hieratic Seal to put back a copy of Tefnuit that's banished before just passing turn. So again, let me see their graveyard. They do have some rulers, but it's actually a little interesting that they're playing this so slow, given that, they have the Redox, which they could have used defensively or not, because your opponent is on rulers, so it is a deck that can, in theory, just OTK you out of nowhere. So it seems a little, interesting that they chose to play this one a little slow, but let's see how it works out for them here. BMD draws into a copy of Mythic Tree Dragon for turn, and from here, has that already been 2 turns? Oh, it has, because they activated turn 1, and then they kind of skipped the turn with the Crimson Blader in effect, where they had just attacked and set. And so yeah, now they are getting the copy of Title back off of that copy of Gold Sark here. So they are in a really good position there, and even more so why I say maybe Kyle should have played into it a little bit more. I don't think there's anything that would have necessarily stopped that, but here we are seeing Title activating, banishing the Mythic Water Dragon and the debris from graveyard, special summoning out that copy of Title. From here, we're then going to see the Tempest activated, banishing the copy of Whitestone and the Blue Eyes from graveyard, summoning that out, normal summoning the Flameveil Guard, and going to battle phase. And let's see, this could just honestly almost be wrapped up, given they do have that other copy of Silver's Cry, and they do have another Blue Eyes in graveyard. So let's see here. Here, the attacking in with everything, and then the Blue Eyes attacking in, and that is gonna wrap it up. So yeah, no, I think Kyle definitely should have maybe summoned at least the copy of Redox to have a little bit of a wall, or, make BMD use up more resources in order to actually out that before anything else. But let's see what happens in this game number 2, where Kyle will get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Bottomless, Tefnuit, DD Crow, Blaster, and Blackhorn. Blackhorn and Bottomless, pretty solid cards to have against the Ruler deck, and having the DD Crow as well is pretty solid. Plus, they'll get a draw for turn that we'll see here in a minute. And on the other side, we see Tempest, Gold Sark, Whitestone, a Legend, DDR, very interesting to see that here, and Max C. So BMD also has a great hand trap in case Kyle starts going off, but obviously seeing their hand right now, it's going to be a little bit of a slow turn unless they draw into something crazy here. Here they draw into a copy of the Seal from the Ashes, so we are just going to see a set 3 and pass. Over to BMD, who gets a copy of Dragon Shrine, so just another great card for them here, starting off by activating Gold Sark, banishing Blaster, and getting a copy of Flameveil Guard before, it looks like after that, Kyle JK is going to activate that Hieratic Seal from the Ashes, and since it's the opponent's turn, they can send a Hieratic monster from their deck to the graveyard here, sending a copy of Tefnuit, and then, what happened? Oh, this was on their turn still, so did BMD just activate one and pass? Or activate the Gold Sark and pass? Did I miss that there? I'm not entirely sure. Here going to main phase and then just passing. So again, playing it slow. So, maybe BMD went and decided to play it slow because they know if they don't put up any monsters, then the Tefnuit can't be summoned. So unless they have exactly the Convocation or the Esset, then they can't really start comboing off. So maybe I missed them just passing turn, but very interesting that they actually went and did that. And so from here, it looks like Kyle is also just going to play it slow because they can't really do much there. The copy of Tefnuit isn't one that you're able to special summon from hand by tributing the way something like a Sue is. So even if they went and grabbed the copy of Esset, they wouldn't be able to then tribute over because that would take up their normal summon. So they're having to kind of play it slow here, and BMD is really noticing that and taking advantage of that here, drawing into a copy of Max C for turn, going and now activating Dragon Shrine, sending a copy of Blue Eyes and Whitestone. Whitestone is going to allow them to pick up a copy of Blue Eyes. After that, we are going to see Tempest activated, banishing both the Blue Eyes and Whitestone to summon itself. And after that, that is going to be met with Bottomless, though. We are going to see the DDR now activating, discarding the Whitestone and bringing back that copy of Tempest. And then from here, the Whitestone will trigger, picking up another copy of Blue Eyes. After that, we do see the copy of Flameveil Guard normal summoned and a synchro summon of Stardust Spark occurring, but that is going to meet the copy of Blackhorn. So, you know, it seemed like a very slow game, but now things are ramping up and becoming simplified already yet again. And so from here, it looks like BMD is just going to pass turn. And here we see Kyle activating the other effect of the Hieratic Seal from the Ashes, again, being able to just send a copy of Sue from deck. Here, Kyle draws for turn, gets a copy of the Ashes again. And let's see what they choose to do. Maybe they can be a little more aggressive, given they can kind of get their resources back with the copy of the Seal. And here we are going to see that Blaster is going to activate, banishing 2 Hieratics to special summon itself, but Max C is going to be chained to that. And here BMD gets a copy of Emptiness. Okay, so, you know, just going to battle phase, attacking in for 28, which is good damage. And then after that, we are going to see the Hieratic Seal triggering to be able to return one of the banished Hieratics. So I guess, yeah, they had done this in the end phase because the opponent's turn is when you send, and then on their turn is when they return from the graveyard there, or from banish to graveyard. Here we're going to see the other copy of Seal set, and then back over to BMD, who gets a copy of Trade-In. Again, perfect given they have Blue Eyes. Also very interesting that they haven't fired off this Seal of Convocation, really playing it slow. They've already gone through, what, just I guess 1 and 1, and then the Tefnuit here. So, you know, they probably definitely have enough names, but it's kind of interesting that they're choosing to play it out this slowly in a sense. Like, the Max C did kind of hurt because what they could have done is just tributed for the Tefnuit over the copy of Blaster, use this to get a Sue and start comboing, but obviously you don't want to be giving the other ruler deck a lot of draws here. So anyways, here we're going to see BMD start their turn by going and getting the copy of Blaster. So it has been 2 turns off of the Gold Sark there, I believe. And here we see the Trade-In firing off to discard the copy of Blue Eyes, drawing into a Whitestone and MST. So MST is going to be fired right away, and we are going to see the Ashes chained to that, sending a copy of Esset from deck to grave, and then here the Ashes will be able to trigger to special summon a Hieratic, bringing back that copy of Sue, which Maxi is going to be chained to the Seal's activation, drawing BMD into another copy of Trade-In. So very good, given they do have that other Blue Eyes, and here they're going to draw another copy of MST and a Torrential, firing off the copy of MST, which the other Seal is going to send a copy of Tefnuit, because again, this is not once per turn, so they are able to do that. And then let me just see if this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard, target 1 Hieratic monster in your graveyard. So that is mandatory as well. So getting extra draws out of the Max C as well by popping this copy of Ashes, which has to trigger summoning back a copy of Tefnuit. Again, just it not being once per turn and it being mandatory is not looking good for Kyle here. Here, BMD picks up a copy of Dragon Shrine, and let's see, we are going to see Blaster activating, banishing the copy of Tempest and Stardust Spark. So Blaster comes down, and after that, we are going to see the Tempest triggering to pick up a copy of Debris Dragon. From here, Debris Dragon is normal summoned using the effect to bring back the copy of Whitestone, but we are going to see the DD Crow chained to that, so banishing that copy of Whitestone before Dragon Shrine is activated, sending just a copy of Redox here, using the effect and banishing double Max C to summon it out. And here here it looks like they are going to maybe overlay a couple misclicks, maybe thinking, no, they're going to synchro for the Star Eater, just going to battle phase, and the Blaster is going to run over the copy of Sue, and then from there, the Star Eater can run over the copy of Tefnuit. In theory, they did have a chance to maybe go for something like a Big Eye, but you also don't really want to take that risk of going for Big Eye, and then, you know, kind of how Dragon Ruler mirror matches used to go, where your opponent then goes for their Big Eye, and you end up losing your whole board. So playing it a little more cautiously in this sense before going to main phase 2 and just setting the Vanity's Emptiness and Torrential, and that's definitely not going to be good for Kyle here. Here in draw phase standby, drawing into that copy of Torrential of their own, and let's see what happens. Special summoning the copy of Tefnuit, and here BMD is going to think here. They say it's good. Convocation is now activated, finally picking up a copy of Sue here, and here BMD is thinking maybe flipping that Emptiness. They are going to flip it right away, which is going to force Kyle to just set that copy of Torrential before passing turn. In end phase, we do see the Blaster returning to hand, and then here it looks like BMD is going to get a copy of Silver's Cry, and now they can kind of just play it slow, running over the copy of Tefnuit before going, setting 1, and passing. Here Kyle gets a copy of Cards of Constance, which isn't going to do much. They can't special summon, so they really need BMD to actually, you know, commit something in so they can fire this Torrential, and they're not going to fall for it, just attacking in. Again, back over to Kyle, who now gets a copy of Red Eye's Darkness Metal, which isn't going to do much, and so Kyle is going to scoop it up. A very dominant game from BMD, or BM Dub Us. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I really have no idea how I'm supposed to say that. But anyways, really interesting match. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much from the Hieratic deck here, but hopefully, regardless, you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays, whether you won or lost. If you thought the deck you or your opponent played was pretty cool, feel free to send that in. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.